Welcome to the Traveling Golfer. Give you one guess what we're talking about. Yeah, golf travel. You were right. Your guess was right.
No, we're not.
Well, we're not?
No. There's been a lot of golf travel between me and this guy, but we're not going to focus on that because he's one of the best instructors in the whole wide world. Just ask me.
That is Claudio DiMarchi, by the way. He is the Traveling Golfer. I'm Mike Wixon. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, today we're not traveling. We're staying right here where we live in Ontario. More detail on that and our guest coming up in just a few minutes. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast. Anywhere you're listening to this, you can subscribe. And on YouTube, what do we ask people to do on YouTube?
Push that notification button and subscribe.
That's so right.
Yeah.
You're right. Hit the bell.
Hit the bell.
And that'll let you know every time we have a new show ready. And we would love you to be along. Don't forget to check out travelinggolfer.net and the Traveling Golfer YouTube channel, which has a wide array of travel right there before your very eyes.
Videos galore, and they're not long either, so you can get an overall perspective of any destination. We have tons of them up there, so yeah, if you're going to go on a trip, it doesn't cost anything to go look.
No, and it's a great way to decide whether or not you want to see some of the courses that you may or may not be planning on your next trip, so go ahead and do that. Why won't we travel today? We just need some expert advice?
Yep.
All right, well, let's get to our guest, but first, we have some welcoming aboard to do.
Yes, we do. We're lucky enough to acquire a couple of sponsors, like 3 of them.
What?
3 of them.
That's a lot.
Yes.
Well, we're delighted to have sponsors on board in the golf realm.
Yes, they're all interconnected, though.
I see.
And we've had Don Hazel on here of Golf Trends before.
Hey, Don.
And through Don and I guess a little bit of my efforts, we have been able to bring Tour Edge, which is now one of the most innovative golf course or golf club manufacturers in the game. Since they've got David Glod, who's behind the whole organization, does an amazing job, master club maker, club fitter. So, and then we have Dynamic Brands, which is putting their Bag Boy line with push carts and travel covers. So we are touching on covers or travel a little bit.
When I talk to my friends about Bag Boy, because I'm boasting, I'm on my way to a Bag Boy setup, they're very jealous. Bag Boy is the way to go.
For you, those were concerts, like a Bag Boy concert or something like that. It just has a ring to it.
You don't need to pick on me.
So anyways, our company Golf Trends right here in Canada brings this full circle, and they're going to also let us have a look at some of these other products that they distribute. Vigor Eyewear that is very, very good. And Sure Shot rangefinders. They also have Lambkin and Golf Pride grips, things that all golfers need.
Fantastic. Well, delighted to have all 3 of these sponsors join us. And, of course, you'll find out more about their products and what they have to offer in upcoming episodes as we sprinkle them through. But thank you for making the show possible.
So, and with that, I don't know if you've been in the loop. Probably you don't read the Golf Wire every morning like I do. But
I think you are a little bit more, is it the word addicted than I am? But go ahead.
Maybe, but like Tour Edge has just launched 2 sets, or 1 line of clubs, the E521s, and one of them is an extreme game improvement club. Who could that be for?
Me?
Yeah.
Well,
good answer.
Thank you.
And then they have the C521 series, which is labeled for competition spec game improvement.
So somebody's a little bit more competitive, trying to get that edge on their game for the next tournament.
Well, as I said, if this tourism situation doesn't change because of COVID, I might have to play more serious. And I'm just not sure that I'm ready to play more serious. And, being Captain Exotics Canada, if I'm going to put myself out there, I'm going to have to play well.
Yeah.
Or else. And with that, we can bring in our guest because he's responsible for me playing the way I play this game.
This all made sense to me when I heard this name. I said to you, you've got a hell of a golf game going on. Sounds like you have for some time. And you went, well, it's gotten better over the years. And then you said, well, I've had the advice and the steerage of a very, very talented pro by the name of Todd Keirstead, who is our guest today. Hey, Todd, how's it going?
Good, Mike and Claudio. How you doing today, guys?
Doing good.
Yeah, well, I've seen how this guy plays, and it's in fact one of the most entertaining golfers you can have at your tournament ever. So, Golf with Attitudes, TK here has put the shine on many a tournament as a radio guy that I was at. I'm not surprised that you're able to play the game you are with this guy teaching you.
Yeah, and you know what the good thing about it is? After, having had lessons with Todd, that my game after that magic trip when we went to Mississippi, do you remember the 8 of us?
I do.
8 of us took Todd to Mississippi for a week. And the whole thing was that he's going to teach us every morning. We're going to play golf every afternoon. Well, when I went there, I was a 16 handicap. And within 3 months of coming back, I was 6.
That's insane.
The best part is that I've never really I don't think I've had more than maybe a 5-minute, hey, have a quick look at this, Todd. And anyways, I've been able to keep my game at that level. I got down as low as a 4 handicap, but now I'm hovering around 8. And but if I'm gonna play it all any more serious, then one, I have to practice, and maybe I need Todd to have a little eyeball and say, do this instead of that.
Make some adjustments. But
Yeah.
Todd, is that a thing? I've done golf lessons as a group, but very basic stuff. Is that something that you find yourself doing quite a bit? More than one person in a lesson is a common scenario?
You know what? It's not. It was a phenomenal trip down to Mississippi with 8 people. We set it up almost like a golf school. So it was golf instruction in the morning and playing golf in the afternoon. But I put these guys through the paces. It was almost like, a plane ride home. And the week after, they had to kind of recover because, we worked on a lot of, it wasn't ball beating sessions. It was more of body mechanics, swing awareness, getting into positions, because I look at it, if I can make someone smarter in understanding their own golf swing, then they can start self-diagnosing themselves when something happens on the golf course. And as Claudio has done numerous times, he can always go back on those lessons that we did years ago and kind of self-correct themselves. So, that's my goal. To me, having to come back every Monday afternoon at 5 o'clock for a golf lesson, it's great for me financially, but unfortunately, as an instructor and my own pride, I don't like that. I want somebody to get good right away. I want somebody to get better, but more importantly, I want somebody to get smarter, and that's the key to it.
You know what it seems to me, Claudio, and maybe you've had, I'm actually way more aware of this probably than you are because I am such a bad golfer. But any instruction that I'm given that really sticks to me usually does because of muscle memory, that there is something that I'm able to commit that stroke, that muscle memory to. And the teacher always makes the difference in that by saying, do you feel that? Do you, do you feel the club in your hands this way now? Seems to make a huge difference to me being able to use it in the future.
Well, the great thing about everything that I always try and do, I always follow it up with, does it make sense? And the reason why is because I don't want somebody doing something because I said so. I want somebody doing it because it makes sense and they understand why they're doing it. First of all, why they're making a change, and then why they're doing what needs to be done. As I said, so when they get out on the golf course and hit that bad shot, they have a good idea what's happening so they can change it right away, as opposed to, what the hell did I do wrong?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's where the scratch golfer comes in. So you hit the shot and you scratch and say, what the hell was that?
It's nice to be able to break 100. I for example will roll around on my back with my legs and hands kicking in the air with glee. But I think you're right. A huge difference can be made with the right kind of lessons and the right kind of teaching and guidance in a really short period of time.
So let's
Absolutely.
just for anybody who doesn't know, Todd and I spent many years working together, doing things and what have you. We've even spent a couple of weeks up in the Arctic where we were, and this is when I knew Todd before his new stuff that he's doing now. And I'm going to let him tell you all about that. But him and I went up to the Arctic and we spent 2 weeks teaching kids and adults how to play golf and doing trick shot shows. We were on a beach in the Arctic, believe it or not, hitting golf balls off high tees with icebergs floating across.
That's great.
Not too many people can say they've done that. So,
by the way, until you guys went to the Arctic Circle, I was the #1 golf champion up there. So I've got a bone to pick with both of you.
there you go.
Yeah.
Well, we went up to play in the Billy Josh Open.
What is that?
It's a golf tournament that at the time, I think that was the 25th anniversary that we were up there for. And it's in Ulahuktuk, formerly Holman, which is about an hour and a half from Santa Claus's house. And I mean, we got to tell the story about when we arrived, right? What happened?
Well, go ahead, because you're the fisherman. You're the rod and reel guy.
We get to this. Our flight's late. We get there at 4:00. The store closes at 3.
The store.
The store.
Right.
So they put us up in a house. We go into the house. There's no food in the house except a bag of French fries in the freezer of this house. But we were going fishing anyway, so I had all my stuff. So I said to Todd, we need to go catch some fish to have dinner.
For real?
Yes, for real. Fishing real. We walked down to the harbor, what, 10 or 15 minutes away, and we casting away. I catch a 15 and a 16-pound Arctic char, and Todd catches a 7-pound Arctic char. So we got food. We go back. We had the 7-pounder for dinner, fish and chips.
Yeah.
And breakfast, fish and chips. And then we froze the other 2 and brought them home.
Okay. This weekend I had Arctic char. I don't even want to tell you what I paid for it at the store. Now you guys these are monsters you pulled out of the water.
They were big.
Wow.
They were big.
Well, you know what? At least I know if I'm stuck on a desert island, I'm with 2 guys who are resourceful and we won't starve. Well done, guys.
Yes. And so from there, we basically, traveled around. We were on an 11-seater plane over the Arctic Ocean for an hour and 40 minutes from Ulahuktuk after when we left to Inuvik. And I guess Inuvik, the highlight of Inuvik was hitting a ball off the mayor's nuts in one of the shows.
Yeah, you know what? He was a great sport for that. With the huge paparazzi that is in Inuvik, he laid down on the ground and allowed me to hit one off of his
junk.
His junk.
His mayoral junk.
His mayoral junk. Exactly.
We teed it up a little high on him, but.
By the way, if you need somebody, and this is not, I'm sure, on his resume or a calling in life, but if you need somebody to hit a ball off someone's nuts, Todd's the guy. I've seen it several times, and never has there been a mishap. So hats off, or pants off to you, Todd, I guess. I don't know. But that's good. That's always a good bit.
Yeah. So those were the days when, we were hanging around and Todd was doing shows all over the place. And yeah, even I got into hitting a few trick shots now and then. But Todd has now broken into a whole new world, helping people with disabilities and wounded warriors. And there's a whole new realm of when you talk about bringing back the game, like you've taken it to a whole new level, and you have a great sponsor in Adidas, which, by the way, we don't have shoes or clothing as a sponsor.
Now's not the time. Now's not the time.
Okay,
but
just thought I'd throw that in
No,
there.
it's okay. I understand. Todd, this sounds, while I'm not surprised that you went into this realm just based on having met you a number of times and the kind of spirit and attitude that you have, what is it that you're up to, and how can people help?
Well, this journey kind of fell into my lap. I've been voted Trick Shot of the Year on the Golf Channel, been on ESPN, Sports Illustrated, TMZ, 4 different occasions, and not in a scandalous fashion. But back in 2014, I was doing a demonstration for a veterans hospital just outside of Tampa, Florida. And it became apparent that and this was a demonstration that I've done for years, that with Claudio and that, I've traveled all over doing this. And this one demonstration, it opened my eyes that a lot of the shots that I was hitting in this 45-minute to an hour-long instructional entertainment show was actually emulating the wounded veterans. So I was hitting balls blindfolded. There were guys that were affected by mustard gas in the Vietnam War and have lost their sight. I was hitting golf balls with one arm, holding onto the golf club with one arm, showing the correlation between tennis and golf. There were arm amputees, standing on one leg hitting shots. There were leg amputees, hitting golf balls off my knees, double leg amputees, hitting golf balls out of a Costco fold-out chair. There were guys that were in a wheelchair situation. All these guys that were affected by, in the theater of war and suffered traumatic injuries. But what I was able to do at that time, without even knowing it, was showing them that, yes, maybe they can't play golf the way that they used to, but here's an adaptive way to play the game of golf again. So I'm showing them a new way of playing, giving them hope, giving them inspiration. So then the first thing that happened then is I came back up to Canada, and I kept on reading Grow the Game, Grow the Game, Grow the Game. And growing the game is great for junior golf and for women's golf. But I always thought, why don't we bring back the game? Bringing back the game to the individuals who thought they've lost it due to their physical or mental situation. Basically, it's the easiest demographic to get back into the game because we already had them. They were hooked. From there, I started working with a lot of individuals that are in unique and different situations. A lot of wounded veterans, a lot of guys that just have put everything on the line. Then in 2017, the Invictus Games rolls into Toronto, and that's the Prince Harry initiative.
Yep.
Based on the Warrior Games out of the U.S. So there was 550 athletes from 17 countries that congregated in Toronto, and they wanted to introduce golf as a sport. And there was nobody really doing adaptive golf really in Canada. So the Invictus Games committee leaned on me. I ended up being part of the organizing committee, helping write the rules, did site inspections of St. George's, and actually spent 45 minutes on the golf course with Prince Harry, talking to him about the value and the power of golf for the wounded veterans around the world. So that was a highlight moment, and that really just exploded the whole initiative.
It's incredible because I've seen your show, your instructional show, and you're right. It's true, Claudio. Like, you've seen it as well. Like, he basically was emulating all of these various disabilities and then playing through.
Yep.
Well, this is incredible. And Adidas got behind you in moving this forward.
Yeah, they really did. So I'm so blessed to have the general manager of Adidas Golf Canada, Leslie Hawkins. She saw the program. She jumped on board immediately and has supported me for the last 5 years, and it's been incredible. And now what we're doing, there's rumblings that golf might be introduced into the Paralympics. So I'm trying to get ahead of the game right now. There's a World Disability Golf ranking system that's out there, which is, taking players in adaptive situations and playing in specific disabled tournaments where they can gain points. So what I'm trying to do right now is I've got 8 of the best disabled golfers in Canada that are part of my program. And these are guys that are like +3 handicaps, +1 handicaps. These are solid players that I would put up against any able-bodied person. So I've got 8 of the best Canadian golfers in Canada right now. We're putting a team together and just trying to grow the game, either use it as a grassroots development program to getting people into the game, to then getting to the elite performance level. And it's creating a roadmap for these individuals and giving them a sense of purpose again.
This is just incredible. And by the way, I just learned how to say Adidas properly. Adidas.
Adidas. And that's from Adi Dassler, is the guy that started it back in Germany, and that's how it all came about. Adi Dassler. So Adidas.
Thanks, man. Already some instruction has gone a long way. I appreciate it, Todd. That's very cool. I don't know what to say about both of these incredible efforts that you've taken on, but the Paralympics, being prepared in advance for that, highlighting golf as a showcase sport for that very field of competition is an amazing idea.
Well, to think that, people with such disabilities can get down to a 3-4 handicap is like, I just can't even imagine the challenge and the discipline that they have to go through with.
I would
everything.
imagine when you've had so much taken from you physically to get to a place where you're like, wow, I'm achieving from where I left off in golf, and I'm doing better than I was when I left golf. That's empowering to no end, I would imagine.
Oh, absolutely. Every day I'm blessed with the fact of, I don't need to listen to an inspirational video or I'm living it and breathing it every day. When I have the privilege of working with individuals who have lost limbs, who are, in a car accident, that are paraplegics, that are swinging out of a chair. Golf could be an elite game where you're taking an elite athlete. And I know some guys that I work with are shooting 66s, but it's also taking a guy that's maybe suffered a stroke golf to them now, once they get out of their mindset, it doesn't have to be 18 holes. As we all know, golf is a game where, you're on the golf course for 4.5 or 5 hours. And if that's individual that just, suffered a stroke and wants to get some normality back in the life, to go out with 3 of his buddies, hit maybe 5 or 6 shots in a 5-hour round, but have a couple beers and laugh and just be one of the guys again. I'm utilizing the game of golf of giving people an excuse to get out of the house. And really, that's what it is for most of the people.
And then to top it off, imagine coming home and doing better than you did the last time you went out with this experience. Suddenly you start to look forward to it. You start to have something in the calendar on a week-to-week basis. Oh, you know what? Here comes winter. I'm going to travel and do it this. It does open up the world, and it's a sociable thing. Todd, this is really cool. Is there some way that people can get behind what you're doing and help out?
You know what? We're looking at all the help we can get, because basically right now I'm a one-man show trying to do this. We have the support of, as I said, Adidas. We have the support of the PGA of Canada. Now we're trying to make this thing on a national level. So yeah, we're looking at sponsors, because the reason why I put together this team is because I knew some of these guys have very, very fixed income, are great golfers, are trying to play in these competitive matches, and most of them are overseas to try and gain these points for the world rankings. So I thought, you know what, there's strength in numbers. Rather than an individual picking up the phone and trying to call a company saying, hey, can you help me out? Right now, 8 of the best golfers in Canada can now call up a company or do something and say, hey, listen, we're a team now. How do you want to help us out? So, you can get a hold of me anywhere through social media. I've got a website called TK Inspire. There's so many different opportunities. But even if it's just, if you know somebody that is struggling and maybe needs a little bit of help to get out of the house, maybe love the game of golf but never thought they could ever play it again, I would love the opportunity of even just talking to them or getting them associated to one of the mentors that I do have in the programs to make them feel comfortable out on the golf course.
Well, why don't we put your initiatives up on the Traveling Golfer website as some sort of a link or vehicle that you can use to promote whatever you're doing, and see if we can't garner some extra support through that.
That would be absolutely amazing, because these guys, they really do. They need it. As I said, a lot of them, they're disabled. They're on fixed incomes, and to be able to play the game of golf and to play it at a competitive level, it's a financial obligation that's tough for them to do.
TKinspired.com to find out more. Todd, this is incredible. Thank you for joining us today to talk about this. In the description for the show, we'll put a link to Todd in there so that you can get behind what he's doing and maybe send somebody his way that could benefit from getting the hell out of the house and onto the course. You're a good guy in the room, Todd. Nice work, man.
Oh, thank you so much. And thank you both for the platform of sharing what we're doing and making a difference in people's lives.
Absolutely. And we'll talk later this week about what I just offered you, because I think it would be a great thing. And
perfect.
Let's do it.
Awesome, gentlemen. Thank you so very, very much.
Thanks, Todd.
Thanks, Todd.
Man, I love this show. There's always something cool. We're either talking about a cool place or something like this just arrives out of the blue where you're like, listen, man, Todd is doing this thing. You got to hear about it. This is really amazing. And he doesn't overplay the fact that he's trying to do something heroic himself, because he knows the people he's doing this with are actually heroes.
He's a great guy. And great people. We can have a great show without traveling. Told ya.
Well, we encourage you to get behind what Todd's doing, tkinspired.com. All right, here we go. Shall we play through and have a look at what's happening in the wine cellar?
I was getting thirsty, so yes, let's do that.
All right, what do we have this week, buddy? Oh, by the way, coming up next week, we will do a skip on the wine section because it will be interwoven into the episode, and you'll see what we mean next week.
Yeah, kind of right on there, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So what do we have today?
Well, I know it's wine time, but I have to tell you that I added another piece of the puzzle to my bourbon collection. And we call it the Herd now because this one's called Buffalo Trace. Buffalo, get it? Haha. Anyhow, where are we going with wine? Sticking onto the spirits side of things, I have now found the meaning of once you go black, you never go back.
I saw that post this weekend. It was huge. I mean, it was absolutely huge. The ice cube that was in the glass is what I'm talking about.
Well, you got to have those kind of ice cubes. This is Crown Royal Black we're talking about.
Amber of the Gods?
And yeah, kind of. I don't know if it replaces bourbon, but it's another dimension for me. Much deeper, darker in color, which is nice. And if you want to compare it to wine, it was more full-bodied. Had that nice caramel mix in there in the taste, and maybe some apples and oranges, something like that. Nice and satisfying.
So I like that, the caramel. That means there's a little bit of burnt-off sugar in there. That means that they've done something with the actual process to keep that sugar flavor.
And probably adds a little bit of alcohol, maybe a higher level of alcohol.
Smooth?
To it. Very, very smooth.
You know what? It looked smooth in the glass. It looked velvety, actually.
Yeah, and I can honestly say, now that I've had it a couple of times, I don't know that I would ever go back to just regular old Crown Royal.
What, a big difference in price?
No.
So there you go.
Anyways, getting on to wine.
Let's wine it up.
Let's wine. So just going to touch on a couple. Interesting cab from Columbia Valley in Washington. It was a nice, and I saw it in the Star. So I thought, well, why not? It was full-bodied, that chocolate or cocoa kind of taste comes to mind when it lands on your tongue. It was nice. And again, this one was only like $20.
Give me the name again.
It is the Heavenly Valley.
Oh, I saw that on the shelves.
Yeah.
That was just on that's not a vintages or anything like that. I just saw that on display. It was an end rack.
Well, maybe at your store it was, not in my store.
We don't have the same store?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. So, and then we went into a couple more Pinot Noirs. This one was funny because I had bought it and it sat around for a while. And I learned something because it said it was a 93 points according to James Suckling. It was quite a high-profile wine ranker. So had it. Next morning, first thing I did is go down to the computer and see if there's any more around. And, of course, there wasn't.
Oh, no.
So, my bad. Next time I find a 93 point, I'm going to drink it first and not let it sit around because it was awesome.
How long ago did you get it?
Probably 3, 4, 5 months.
Oh,
I don't know.
So they've just gone through the supply of it.
Yes, had a nice sushi dinner with my favorite sushi partner, and Pinot Noir is always her favorite thing. So, but as soon as we had it, I go, oh my God, this is really good. But it's all gone. Out of Chile. William Cole, Grand Reserve, 2017.
All right.
Then we moved into this was on another occasion, but a Sokol Blosser Pinot Noir from Dundee Hills in Oregon. You'll like this one because you're always trying to get me to spend a little more on these things. So it was in the $40 range. A little darker, more full-bodied than the William Cole,
I hate to call you a cheapskate, but this does put you back in the realm of credibility with me. I'm not going to lie to you. $40 is a pretty expensive bottle of wine.
Yeah. Yeah, but, I deserve it.
You're worth it.
I'm worth it. Yeah.
I was just going to say that. Treat yourself. Why not? Treat yourself, my friend.
And this one just happened to be a 91-pointer.
Oh, okay.
So, And then I went backwards down to $17. And I didn't really, this is not one that I would buy because I'm not a big Shiraz guy. But a buddy brought it over. It was a Hardy's Brave New World Shiraz Black. $17. It was okay. Another black. So we're going to end up, we start with black, we end with black.
Well, like you said.
But for this one, I'm not going back.
Okay.
Anyways, it was nice. Again, chocolatey and red fruits, but smells great. Just Shirazes just don't finish for me. So, and with finish, it's almost that Ed Sullivan time.
Oh,
this
look what
is
you
the
did.
end of our show.
What you just did. You did what we like to call a segue. Well done. TravelingGolfer.net for more information. You want to reach out to our buddy Todd Keirstead. Edit. Todd Keirstead. You'll find him at
Easy for you to say.
Edit. Todd Keirstead. You'll find him at tkinspired.com as he is doing wonderful things. You have a wine you'd like to recommend or a spirit you heard on the show, you need some more information about one of the trips, please reach out to Claudio. Where do people do that?
TravelingGolfer.net is a great place to start.
This is The Traveling Golfer. Subscribe, tell a friend. We will catch you next time. Claudio, thanks, buddy.
You, sir.